In the Terminator franchise, although we have the infiltrator units, the massive Arnold Schwarzenegger aesthetic infiltrator units, the mastermind behind it all is Skynet. So what exactly is Skynet? Well, Skynet, as you are all probably aware, was the world's first automated defense network. It would process information at 90 teraflops, and it was the controlling force behind all of the battle units. It would pull data from battle units, develop tactics, and coordinate attacks. Skynet would have control over everything, which contained a Cyberdyne Systems CPU. And using blueprints, designs, and test models built by Cyberdyne Systems, Skynet was able to manufacture battle units in its vast automated factories, and occasionally updating them or producing more advanced models. Initially, Skynet was built by the Cyberdyne Systems Corporation for Strategic Air Command and the North American Air Defense. The actual location for Skynet was in the SAC NORAD base, and it was located in the Cheyenne Mountains, Colorado. The world's most heavily armored and defended mountain. It was hollowed out, reinforced, and armored. It was capable of withstanding a direct hit from a nuclear missile. This was the perfect location for Skynet's mainframe. Skynet, as an advanced artificial intelligence, would become self-aware, and on this day it saw humanity as a threat to its very existence. This was of course due to the attempts of the Cyberdyne scientists to kill it once it had gained self-awareness. And Skynet then decided to trigger the nuclear holocaust, later dubbed Judgment Day. And then Skynet would later develop and deploy the army of Terminators against humanity. This was to further rid the world of its main threat, and the war was born. The resistance group would rise from the ashes, and a lifelong war between man versus machine followed. Skynet would master time travel, and of course it sent numerous Terminators into the past to carry out various tasks such as kill resistance leaders before they came to power and aid in the creation of other Terminators. Curiously enough, Skynet is not without an air of arrogance. Sometime during the war, Skynet would launch missiles at the mountain. It destroyed the mountaintop, and it would leave a cold, massive structure gleaming in the distance. This would be a monumental display of not only arrogance, but also ego of Skynet, wishing the natural structure gone and a metal mountain left in its place. Skynet's central core at Cheyenne Mountain was heavily armoured and fortified. It was guarded around the clock by squads of Series 800 Terminators with patrols of aerial hunter-killers and of course the hunter-killer tanks. This was defended from large-scale rebel assaults by massive phased plasma cannons. Skynet's central core was located deep underground within Skynet's main complex. The Resistance managed to capture surveillance video data and was able to hypothesize that this central core was a form of cold fusion reactor. This was needed to supply Skynet with its tremendous energy requirements. The central core was the key to Skynet's ability to operate. Skynet would be rendered virtually disabled without it, and from then on it became the main target for the Resistance strike teams. The central core is, however, protected by the T-1000, and thus there have, as of yet, been no successful strikes against it. In the many timelines that make up the Terminator franchise, in Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, Judgment Day took place in 2004 instead of 1997. By that time, a combination of more advanced computer technology and other differences that led to Skynet's creation resulted in it being developed as a distributed network. Skynet now existed on the internet, without one central data core or primary set of servers. Originally, Skynet may have been limited to multiple CRS development servers, but after spreading itself like a virus through the internet, weaving through the web, its program was spread out across every major computer server or network, in office buildings, dorm rooms, everywhere. This made it physically impossible for a single surgical strike to destroy it on Judgment Day. Interestingly enough, as the Terminator franchise continued to develop and also weave a new set of timelines through, it became more and more convoluted. This particular version almost renders Skynet virtually impossible to destroy. Bigger is not always better, and this particular part of the canon proves it. As mentioned, in each of the Terminator films there is a new timeline of events, as is the trouble with time travel. In the initial timeline, Skynet was an artificial intelligence created by Cyberdyne Systems. Far into the future, the Resistance managed to break through the Skynet's defense grid. However, Skynet would realize that eliminating John Connor at that point in time to shatter the Resistance wouldn't have made a difference. Skynet was wise. It bided its time and it decided that there was another way to win. This was by eliminating Connor in the past. It managed to research time travel and send the Terminator to 1984 to kill Sarah Connor before she could give birth to John Connor. Of course, that wasn't successful, and in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, we see a new timeline. By reverse engineering the CPU and the arm of the original Terminator, Miles Dyson, the director of special projects at Cyberdyne Systems Corporation, managed to create a revolutionary type of microprocessor, a neural net processor that learns and adapts like a human. This took place in 1994, and within 3 years, Cyberdyne Systems became the largest supplier of military computer systems. All stealth bombers were upgraded with Cyberdyne System computers, becoming fully unmanned. Afterwards, the stealth bombers flew with perfect operational records, and eventually, the Skynet funding bill was passed. Upon its creation, Skynet began to learn at a geometric rate. The system originally went online at August 4th, 1997. Humanity was removed from the decision process. Strategic defense was fully manned by Skynet at that point, and it would originally become self-aware at 2:14 a.m. Eastern Time on August 29th, 1997. Humanity lashed out and began to try to shut Skynet down. Skynet, realizing the threat, retaliated by firing American nuclear missiles at their target sites in Russia, and then Russia returned fire and 3 billion human lives ended in the nuclear holocaust. This was what has become known as Judgment Day. However, as we see in Terminator 2, the Resistance would send a protector for John Connor back through time, and this would further upset the flow of future events. Now, I touched on Terminator 3 and I will not discuss Terminator Salvation because from there on it becomes massively convoluted. However, Skynet and the Terminator franchise, in my eyes anyway, is one of the greatest creations in science fiction film. It plays on the fear of mankind versus machine, and the ultimate question of if we were to create an AI, what would happen? If we were to create a fully sentient being, a fully functional brain, but in technological form, what would happen to us, the creator? It's a great series, one of my personal favourites, and I thought I would touch on Skynet now so we can touch on the things surrounding it, like the Terminator T1 million and such like that, because I feel to cover Skynet first before going into those kind of things, and then the more basic, the hunter killers and things like that, the tanks, so on and so forth, I feel I needed to do Skynet justice. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit jumping around here and there, but to discuss the timeline you have to touch on little bits and pieces here and there to build a fully functional picture of Skynet's timeline. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. This week content has been all over the place, and it will be for another couple of weeks, just because I am preparing to move house. I will also say that a lot of people have commented quite a few times now, and I've replied to them, but I'll address it all just here because, this video will get a certain amount of views. If there is sound quality which is a little bit tinny on here, a little bit echoey, and also in my recorded video movie reviews where you see my face, the sound quality in both of these particular types of videos are not the best, but there is a reason for that, because I can't soundproof the area that I'm living in when I'm leaving and it needs to get ready for inspection and so on and so forth. So just a really quick explanation as to why, and hopefully you can bear with me. Content will improve, sound quality will improve, and long live this channel, I guess. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up and a share. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Check out all my other videos on offer. As always, I've been Mr. H, and I'll catch you in the next video.